It is 2 years of the President Tinubu administration, and it's time to look at his midterm achievements. Let's start with Mr. Bayo, Aina, the former banker, the chairman of Danke Foods Limited, the very first eatery in Ekiti State, former commissioner for finance and budget, Ekiti State, pioneer executive chairman of Ekiti State Fiscal Responsibility Commission. Currently, he is a national secretary, Yoruba Leaders of Thought. What would you score the president when you think about his personal agenda in his coming?
I think he has been true to his campaign manifesto. He's been true to his word. It's just that when he was saying it, most people are not aware of the implications and consequences of it. You see, we have lived a life for so long, probably as far back as after independence. I remember coming across a document recently where somebody bought $1,000 for 546 naira in 1980. So the government has been subsidizing every aspect of our daily lives. It's not a bad thing. Subsidy in itself is not bad. But the people who do subsidy successfully are the people that have areas of surpluses that they can plow to subsidize whatever area they want to subsidize. We're subsidizing foreign exchange, we're subsidizing petroleum, which itself ought to generate the surplus that ought to be used to subsidize other areas. And he said he was going to remove those. Just like all the other major contenders, Peter Obi did say that, Atiku also said it. So he has done that, and he has been trying to ameliorate the impact of the removal of that subsidy, the shocks of that removal. But overall, our economy is more stable now. And the latest Fitch report, Standard & Poor's, all these people that actually evaluate national economies agree that we are on the path to recovery.
Barrister Owoseeni Ajayi, former student union leader of OAU, former chairman of NBA at Ekiti, former chairman of Ekiti State Sport Council. He was also a former commissioner for justice and attorney general, Ekiti State. What was your overview of the achievement of the president in 2 years?
Honourable Bayo, I know, is an economist. I'm not one. I'm a political analyst and I'm a lawyer. I will distinguish President Bola Ahmed Tinubu person from his governance. President Bola Tinubu, I want to say I've never seen a Nigerian who is generous to a fault in building human beings. President Tinubu has worked over the years to establish human beings in virtually all the states in the country. Let us limit it to Ekiti State. Don't forget that MOB will not have been anybody alive if you take Ahmed Tinubu out of his life. And one major thing, you know, he served Lagos for 12 years as commissioner. When MOB was shot at the rally
in Ekiti State,
yes, when Governor Fayemi was contesting to come back, from reliable source, Ahmed Tinubu flown MOB abroad and gave them his grey card. Spread anything you want to spread there and save his life. Look at what MOB has become today. Look at the Minister of Solid Minerals, Dele Alake. Many people don't even know he's from Ekiti. Because, and he's from Iloro. He was his commissioner for information for virtually 80 years. He has been coordinating his media home. He has become a twin brother to President Tinubu. He has recently made 2 indigenous of Ikere. He has appointed them into prominent positions. The Chief of Army Staff, Uluyede, if people don't know, is from Ikere Ekiti. The chairman of EFCC, Olukoyede, is also from Ikere Ekiti. Then don't forget that President Tinubu, outside government, installed Governor Fayemi as governor of the state. Because Governor Fayemi did not become governor through pronouncement of INEC. He became governor through pronouncement of the court. The President Tinubu has become president of this country a long time. Don't forget that he single-handedly bankrolled 5 governors was snatched from PDP. Governor Shomole of Edo State. Mimuko was even in the Labour Party. Aregbesola in Osun State. Even outside government, he single-handedly bankrolled their electoral victory. That is, and the same thing all over the country. And that is why people love him for his generosity. Look at what he did as governor of Lagos State, how he stood against Obasanjo. When some governors of PDP now are crossing over. He did not do that. He stood far on his belief as governor of Lagos State. And he was able to use it to galvanize and mobilize the opposition. And ensure that the opposition took over power in this country. He single-handedly did it. Who is next to him? He was the one that virtually forced, and is a very great calculator. He virtually forced President Mohamed Buhari to be president. He knew he cannot win as president of Nigeria under AC or ACA. He went to cultivate the friendship of other political parties. The CPC under Buhari, and the late Federal Minister of Technology from the East, Equales brought all of them together and say Buhari go and contest as president. Buhari said, I have no money. I cannot run this race again after 3 times. He said, I will bankroll it. He bankrolled his primaries and the general election. So when it was his own time, I've assisted all of you. He has been a very wonderful person. I personally love him. But when you now come to the issue of governance, the economists, we want to rationalize this and that. His economic policy so far has not benefited the grassroots. People in the grassroots like us, Honourable Bayo, I know may not be in the grassroots, but I wish I am in the grassroots. I mean the people of the grassroots, people are suffering. Seriously. The prices of goods when President Tinubu took over has gone 5 times now higher. You know, when people at the high levels, when they rapport among themselves, when they keynote among themselves, they really don't know what is going on in the grassroots. Then, because you have limited time for us here, look at the security. Has it become impossible to curb insecurity in this country? What is happening in the north is horrible. You see, people in the villages, they are helpless. And the security too, they may not be able to cover everywhere. It's like, I'm from Iseru local government. When you are entering Iseru, you meet Owoseeni, Afolumodi, you meet Ajebandele, Kajola. There is no how you can have military in all these places. In the north, these terrorists will invade these places, kill thousands of people there. What is the solution to this? The president must find a way of solving this insecurity problem. They must find a solution to this. If it amounts to looking for foreign assistance, the way these terrorists, these bandits are killing people everywhere, the excuses that these are imported foreigners, they are Fulanis who are not Nigerians, how did they enter the country? These foreign people that are terrorizing us, how did they enter Nigeria? The weapons that they are using, that people have rated them to be better than that of the military forces. Who is the importer? Who is supplying them? How did they get into their hands? There must be a solution.
Thank you very much. Very, very much. You have spoken very well, and what I can say is that there is none of this problem that had not always been there. If you look at prices in 1999 and you look at prices in 2023, they've not been the same. And the reason is that we have been using paper to cover structural defects at the foundation. Now, this is a country of over 200 million. If we had done the right things since the 70s, there is no reason why we should be importing food into Nigeria. Let me give you an example. Somebody was talking about the story of India in 1969. It was so bad that on Mondays they would not have dinner. They were living from sheep to mouth because there was famine. They had fought a war with Pakistan. There was no food. But today India is the second largest exporter of food. What happened? That hunger shocked them to action. They had land, they had everything. Similarly, Nigeria, we have land. If you travel from toll gate in Lagos to Ibadan, in some other countries, even China, everything will be cultivated land. That is how people feed. But when you travel that distance, you will see structures, you will see religious houses and so on, and the rest is just uncultivated land. And you have 200 million people, and they must feed. So you begin to import food at the expense of developing your own farming sector. Now we have all realized that there is an extent to which we can depend on imported food in this country. So people have gone back to farm. There are so many people who are doing massive farming. But the problem again is this. Who is interested in cheaper food prices? Consumer and government. The farmer loves to get the maximum reward they can for their good. The intermediary who will bring the product from maybe Kano or wherever down here, he wants to invest 100,000 and make it 1 million overnight. So some of these problems are artificial and we created them for ourselves. And what the government now did last year, which was a very good initiative, was to say, okay, we are temporarily lifting up the ban on importation of food. Let people bring in food. And people brought lots of food. And that was why December prices did not go up. And even now we are beginning to witness a downward movement of prices of food items. The important thing is to see that this thing is sustained. When it is sustained and people know that, okay, if you buy a whole warehouse of rice and you store it, if you don't sell it at this price, it will be there forever. then people will begin to understand that there is a limit to how much they can exploit situations. So we have that. Beyond that is also, when we talk of security, the problem of the North and of the East, I think some of those problems were aided by collaborators, local collaborators. I remember some years back, even a governor, a northern governor, had to take up a whole page of adverts to apologize to Boko Haram for misrepresenting them. You may remember, one governor took out a whole... So what happened was, it was a homegrown problem which has become hydra-headed. And over the years, the political will to completely crush this thing has not been there. But there is more political will now. And as evidence from the pronouncement of people of Southern Kaduna, they will tell you that things are better. It has never been this way. About a month ago, the governor of Borno State was afraid that ISWAP may overrun them. And about 2 weeks ago, he was thanking the military that they have restored safety. And the good step that the federal government has taken in this area of security is this idea of forest rangers. Some of these problems do not go in a year or 2 years. In the 60s, early 70s, West Germany, it was not yet, it had not matched to become Germany. West Germany had a problem of terrorism, just like Italy. They called them Baden-Meinhof, and you also had the Red Brigade. They were doing all this kidnapping and so on. That was what they were doing. They said they were fighting the big people in the society. But there's a way eventually that government, how do I say, eradicated them through neutralizing many of them and through their re-education. The problem we have in the North was that initially some people felt that the insurgency will further their personal private interests. But it has, the violence has become so mindless that nobody knows who is safe again. So, and the president that we have now is determined to curb this problem, and they're working at it, and I'm sure that by the end of his tenure, we will not have that as a social problem again.
I, as a person, I don't believe in theory. I believe in the practical. It may be too early to pass judgment on the government of President Tinubu, but I want to pray, and I'm praying that President Tinubu succeeds. Because if President Tinubu, God forbid, fail to solve key problem of Nigeria, Nigerians will lose interest in democracy. Because no president has ever been elected in this country with that has the experience of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, left and right. He was a social crusader. He was a leader of the opposition. He was a very radical governor of Lagos State. I've never seen any president of Nigeria that has a seat. He's very fearless, very courageous, and very witty. If perennial problems facing this country are not solved by him, I hope people will not lose interest in democracy. Please,
for me,
I've not even answered your question.
okay.
What my friend has analyzed is a tip of the iceberg in addressing the issue of insecurity in the north. It's only in the southwest region that we have fear security issue. And it is because the governor in the Southwest has set up security apparatus like Amotekun and vigilantes, Peace Corps and other local hunters to tackle the insecurity. My brother, if you see what is happening in the North daily, we won't be terrorizing here. We are merely terrorizing here. If you see what is happening in the North, my brother,
the North has been
the president must do something about it.
This problem.
That is why President Tinubu was elected to solve the problem.
And he will solve it.
He was elected to solve this dangerous problem.
But he cannot solve it alone.
That is why I said I pray.
Have said it.
I pray it succeeds. Otherwise, people will lose interest in democracy.
There is a concept they use. They say kinetic force. That is the force of arms and so on. At some point, there will have to be either negotiation or re-education and so on and so forth. I
want to ask you, when last did you go to the market? What is a bag of rice in the market? You are saying prices of rice have come down. A price of market, I bought a price of rice about 2 days ago for 100,000 naira. A bag of, personally, I bought it personally, a bag of rice for 100,000 naira at the market there. About 3 years ago, a bag of rice is about 30,000 naira.
It should not have
so,
cost
and your name is coming down. I don't know whether that happens.
As I have heard now, Aliko Dangote has even given 10,000 bags of rice. Yes, so what you bought
is a scratch. That is a scratch of the iceberg.
So what you bought?
How long will we continue to live on
A
handout?
woman will have given you a better.
On handout. How long will we continue on handout? Because Dangote and
what I'm saying
in his
that
class.
If 10,000 bags of rice should enter the states now, it will affect the prices of rice.
When I bought my 100,000 last week,
you didn't know how to negotiate.
People of the Fountain.